Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something, well, a little different, maybe really special. We're actually going to do a deep dive into a piece of art itself. We're looking at the lyrics from Bittersweet Symphony by the Verve. You know, those lines everyone kind of knows. Our goal, really, is to get past just, hearing the song. We want to unpack the meaning, the contradictions, the whole emotional ride in those lines. It's amazing how something so familiar can, well, offer up new things when you really dive in, right?
Yeah.
Using different takes, different views to get to the heart of it. Okay, so let's jump right into that opening because it hits you straight away with this huge contrast. It kicks off with, because it's a bittersweet symphony, that's life trying to make hands with your rest of money, then you die.
Mhm.
So you get symphony, which sounds, I don't know, grand, harmonious, but then bam, right against this really raw, almost cynical take on just surviving, money and death. How do we even start to square that mix of like beauty and just brutal reality?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And what's really fascinating and something our research kind of flags again and again is how those first lines just set the tone, this complex reality. It's not just contrast for contrast's sake. It feels like the main idea right there. One analysis we looked at kind of suggested the symphony isn't necessarily meant to be beautiful in that classic sense. It's more like the complex, maybe unavoidable orchestration of life's difficulties. There's a beauty in seeing the pattern, maybe, even if it's a harsh one. It paints life as both this, composed piece and a tough grind, the existential thing, the bigness of being alive, but also the struggle and, well, the end.
Okay, the orchestration of the grind. That clicks. And then it gets even more interesting, like almost straight away, the lyrics go, no change, I can change, I can change, I can change, but I'm here in my am, I am here in my am. But then right after that, I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can't change my am. No, 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 no. I mean, how can you feel totally stuck in your mold, but also say you're a million different people? What's going on there?
Well, that tension, that's so deeply human, isn't it? It's a classic psychological paradox. When we look into self-identity research, you often see this trait state idea. Like you have these underlying personality traits that feel really fixed, that's your mold you feel stuck in. But then your emotional states, your behaviors day to day, those are incredibly fluid. They shift constantly with context. That's how you're a million different people from one moment or situation to the next. The lyrics just capture that internal tug of war perfectly, feeling hemmed in by who you think you are or your situation.
Yeah.
But also knowing deep down that you're constantly adapting, evolving, becoming someone slightly new, even if you don't consciously choose it.
Yeah, that feeling of being in a rut.
Yeah.
Even while knowing you can be flexible. It's familiar. But then there's a shift, isn't there? Like a search for some kind of release. The lyrics move towards, I need to give some sounds that recognize the pain in me. I'll let the mellow shine. Let it cleanse my mind. I feel free. Now there's nobody singing to me now. Feels like finding something, a turning point.
It really does. And it brings up this important point about catharsis, right? Through music, through expressing yourself. That line, sounds that recognize the pain, speaks to this really deep need we have for connection, for feeling understood through art. It's pretty universal. A lot of interpretations we found really emphasize this. It's about the artist finding their own voice, getting away from what others expect or sing, letting the mellow shine, letting it cleanse my mind. That highlights how art, making it or taking it in, can feel like this profound liberation, a cleaning out, even if it's just for a moment.
Yeah.
And that last bit, nobody's singing to me now, that sounds like real freedom, like finally owning your own feelings, your own story.
Right, owning it. And then it comes back around to this really powerful kind of haunting closing line. Violence, silence, change, my violence down. Almost like a plea. So after exploring life's contradictions, the shifting self, finding solace, what does that final image leave us with?
That line, violence, silence, change my violence down. It feels incredibly raw, like a direct plea for inner peace, doesn't it? It paints such a vivid picture of struggling with something internal. It's probably not about, external fighting. It seems much more like a call to manage that inner turmoil. And that, I think, raises a really important question for you listening to this. Is the ultimate change the song is reaching for maybe less about changing your job or your city or whatever, and more about finding a way to quiet that internal violence, the anxiety, the doubts, the noise inside that we all deal with? It kind of leaves you thinking about that very personal fight for serenity, really.
Wow. What a journey just in those few lines. From life's hard truths to who we are, to finding peace and expression. We really hope thinking about this encourages you to maybe listen again with these ideas in mind. It really does show how even things we know well, familiar texts can offer up so much more when you take the time to dive deep. Makes you wonder what other symphonies are playing out in your own life that might have deeper meanings just waiting if you decide to take that closer look.